there's a link. Hopefully, maybe not. Let's see how it's working here. I shared it with the class, but of course it's not there. Okay, that's cool. It says invite class, so it might have been just that you got an email. Sometimes I don't usually use the invite class one. I usually just put it up on the screen for the kids to log in. So if you go to www.joinpd.com, and for my kids at home, I always type it right on into the chat, and it will create a hyperlink for them. And then they don't even have to type it, and they don't have to spell it, they don't have to screw it up in any way, shape, or form. They just click on the link in the chat, and then they put in that code QDBFFJ. And again, I always put that in the chat for my kids at home when I'm using it. Just like, you know your audience if they'll need that kind of little support or not. But you can, and again, I'm new to Pear Deck in the last couple of months, so I don't know everything. Certainly there is to know about Pear Deck, but you can invite the class through the classroom, which is what I thought I did, but maybe it didn't work. You could also just create the link, and I could send the link out or post the link on the classroom. I also have this teacher dashboard that I'm gonna kind of keep off to the side that I will show you kind of as we go. So you can see what the teacher will see, and you'll see what you see as the student. So I'm gonna get started just so we have enough time. The code for those of you who are thinking of using this in your classroom, the code for it, the QDBFFJ, will stay in the top corner of your screen while you're doing your Pear Deck. So if someone joins your meet late, or if a kid gets kicked out and needs the code again, the code will be there on the screen. So they'll still be able to kind of jump in midway if they need to. So Pear Deck, if you didn't know, is basically a way to make your slides interactive. It's a way to make your, I have been using it for notes, for introduction of new content, and then immediately practicing said concept. Maybe it's a practice question, maybe it's labeling a diagram. There's just all sorts of different things you can do with Pear Deck. So I'm gonna, like I said, show you one, and then you'll be able to see on your own screens. So it's a little bit of switching back and forth, sorry. I do use two screens when I do it in class. I project the Pear Deck on, I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but I'm projecting the Pear Deck, even in my classroom now, even though there's no kids in here, I project it onto the screen, the big screen in my room, so the kids in my room can see it. And it's also gonna show up on their computer screen. And then my kids at home, I'm sharing it out through the Google Meet, but they don't have to be in the Google Meet window. They can be in their own Pear Deck window and see it. And as I advance the slides, it will automatically advance the slides on their screen as well. So how can you use Pear Deck in your classroom? This one is just a basic slide. There's no questions added to it. You don't have to add a question to every slide. So for example, in math, now this one should be, if I did this correctly, a drawing slide. In the drawing slide, you can draw literally with your mouse, or if you happen to be on a touchscreen one, you can draw with your finger. You can also insert text boxes and type, which is, I use the drawing feature a lot when I really want you to type something, because they can type it and then they can drag that box wherever they want it. So if we're labeling a diagram or something like that, they can kind of, instead of trying to write with their finger as a touchscreen or write with their mouse, they can actually type it in, and then they can just click and drag their documents. So if I were to put this question up as a math teacher, I had to ask my math teacher friends, because obviously I don't teach math, nor am I any good at math. But this is, I don't know, multiplying binomials, I think is what I was told it was called. I don't know. I did know how to get the answer though. Oh, that's right. Rebecca's math too. I should have asked Rebecca. Sorry, Beck. I forgot. I did get the correct answer. I will have you know. So in the teacher dashboard here, this is what you're going to see. So I can see, and I'm going to blow up people's spot. Of course, Rebecca's first with the correct answer. I think it's the correct answer. I'm sure it is. She decided to write it with the mouse, with the drawing tool. Oh, we've got some foilers here. Good job. Amar is foiling. If you remember from high school, that's at least how I learned it. No one else feels like responding, which is fine. But if other people were responding, you would see all of your kids' scores. Now, I keep this screen on my laptop, so the kids don't really see it. Every once in a while, there's something that I want to share with the class And if I go to, on the bottom here, I go to show, I think it says show responses. My eyes are going because I've been staring at too many screens for this whole year. You can see the responses, but see now there's no name. So you can share the responses out with the students and make it so that they don't know who's who. They just know, oh, at least one person thinks this and somebody else thinks that and whatever. You can also use a text box on this one. And if I show the responses, if you're logged into this on your computer, hopefully you can see that those responses are popping up on your screen as well. I would think, right? No?
No.
Are you logged into the Pear Deck?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you did it. That's interesting. It usually does, I thought. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. So what I have discovered is, especially in when I'm doing notes, and I'll explain a little bit more of why I think this is important later, but just something that I do, certainly not mandatory, is after I do any slide like this where you write on it, the next slide is always the correct answer. Because at the end, the kids will get what's called a takeaway. Admittedly, the takeaway is a premium feature. I'm hoping if I can sell enough people on this, then the district will also buy some premium subscriptions for us if we're going to use it. But the takeaway is basically a printout of document, a Google Doc of what they did and what their answers were. And so on the off chance that like their answer was wrong, I want them to know that the next slide has the correct answer, just in case, so that they're not accidentally maybe studying the wrong stuff. I'm thinking of, okay, so they labeled a cell diagram and they had like 3 different things mixed up. Well, okay, the next slide's going to have the correct answer so that hopefully when they go back to review it, they're going to be reviewing the correct stuff, maybe not the stuff that they had their mistakes on. So I have started doing that afterwards. And some slides don't really lend themselves to needing an answer afterwards, but some of them do. So then you could also do a multiple choice question. For the record, I also got this one right, Becca. So on your screens, hopefully you see the option to be able to pick answer choice 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then on my screen, I'll be able to start to see who's answering what. I can hover here and say, oh, Bill thinks it's C. And again, this is just something I see. I don't need to share this out. Amar and Bill, oh, Bill changed his mind. Bill's a follower because he's not actually doing the math. I know he's not. But you can see as kids answer. And then, of course, you can continue to see who doesn't answer potentially.
You caught me.
I did. Yeah, I know. You're busted. But you can see who doesn't answer. So, however your best practice in your classroom works. Some people like to kind of call people out. Some people like to just do the walk by and say, that kind of thing. But, whatever works for your classroom. But at least you have the information of who's participating and who's not participating. And then I think with this one, I can share out responses too. But again, it won't tell them who. Can you guys see that on your screen? Or is it just showing up in the share?
Just on the, one in the meet.
Yeah, on the one I'm projecting. Okay, yeah. Yep, okay. So, but again, at least you can say, all right, I took a survey and here's what the class results are. So then, again, I give the right answer on the next slide. So this slide is not a drawable slide. You probably have nothing on your screen to add to it, but it is there. And again, the correct answer is marked so that for future reference, they have the correct answer. Here's a science example. Circle all the living things. So again, this one's a drawing one. Now you can insert circles, or you can, again, draw on it. And in my teacher dashboard, I can see that Bill Vaca is doing some circling, and so is Rebecca, and so is Amar. And so I can kind of keep track of who's doing what. And when they get their takeaways at the end, they're going to see exactly where they circled. I'll show you what a takeaway looks like. But if you did the Pear Deck teaser, you already have a takeaway posted on the Google Classroom that you should be able to access because I posted those last night. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. So then again, after this one, I would put the right answer so that kids had access to make sure that they had the right things. And then I threw a multiple choice in here. Again, you get the idea here. You can do a multiple choice answer. I did not know the answer to this one. Phone a friend central over here. It's a really good thing I teach biology and not chemistry or physics or any of those others. But so then again, then again, at the next slide would be the answer. Did you get it right?
I thought that was actually the joke answer.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I had no idea. It was like, this is literally a foreign language. That's how I felt when I read it.
And I was lying in bed and I got a text message with this image and I'm like, why do you care? Last night.
I like to be accurate, Shay. I like to be accurate. So then again, the answer here. So here's an English example that I had. You get little icons. They're called draggables. I would love to get to a place with Pear Deck where you can create your own draggables. Like I could give them words in a word box or cell parts or something, and they could drag those things around. They're not there yet, but you can add in. There are certain symbols and colors you can add in. So you drag the icons, and then in my let's hope I did this one right, man. I did not phone a friend on this one, so don't laugh at me. Is there any English teachers on here? Don't laugh at me if I screwed this up. Miss Spore's not here, is she? She's my go-to English help whenever I write a recommendation. But I can see on my teacher dashboard where everybody's moving, and I see it in real time. So if you are, I know it's hard to be in two screens at once, but I can see the microscope hands moving as you guys kind of change your mind. I think I got it right based on what you guys said. Yes. And then, so again, I would have maybe I would share it with the class again. So I would show it out on the Google Meet and let people know, here's what people thought. And again, it doesn't say who, but it shows you what people thought. So I can show it to the class. And then the following, that's what I had. I think those are right. Again, would be the right answers so that people know that they in fact have the right answers. The next one is a social studies example. So again, these are draggables. I just use different symbols this time. But, put the red star in New York, the blue star in California, the green star in Minnesota. Those were picked prior to yesterday for the record. I just was randomly trying to pick a couple, easy or harder or whatever. So again, I can then show, good, everybody knows their United States geography. And again, you can see it in real time. And in the dashboard, again, I can see who's who. So I can, let's say one of these was wrong. I could, instead of saying, Dawn, you're wrong, I could say, hey, Dawn, you might want to check that green star, or, something like that to help them. There we go. Yeah. So Rebecca, you got to check your red star, that kind of thing. And you can kind of keep it jokey a little bit, but you still know what's going on. And then again, the answers would be on the next slide. And the answers I put in on the slide just by inserting in Google Slides, inserting stars. This is not like a draggable feature from the Pear Deck. It's just I added those to the slide. I threw in another multiple choice question. I was really trying to be equal opportunity for this training so everybody could see most of their content. I only did one special area, Alexandria, and I picked the wrong one, sorry, but I did do a special area one. So then, yep, it's France. It's not France, actually, it's Great Britain. I think that one was wrong because I can't read. So then I did a facts example because I know that Kathy Sachs is almost always a regular here. I think she had another meeting today. But something that they might do is maybe they have to create a menu. And so again, I think this one's a drawing slide. Is it, or did I forget to put the drawing on it? I forgot to put the drawing on it, didn't I? Did I put it on the next one, I wonder? Nope, I didn't. That's what happens when you're still working on it at 10 o'clock at night. But in theory, had I added the drawing thing to it, and I can show you how easy that is, you'd be able to, put in text boxes and type into these boxes so that kids could put in some ideas, and then you could kind of share out whatever their menu ideas were. I think that's the last slide. It was just like a quick overview of a couple of them. So then when I end it, now I'm ending it, you can end it in either place. You can end it in the teacher dashboard, or you can end it in the one you're projecting to your kids. This is the teacher dashboard one. I'm going to leave it as the name, Pear Deck Demo Classroom. I'm going to make sure that check the box, publish the student takeaways, and then I'm going to save and exit. It's going to find the link to the takeaways. Takes a second. And your link won't be available immediately, but I can show you the one that I created from the teaser that I did so that you can see what a takeaway looks like. So you can either just provide your students with the link, or it will automatically link to Google Classroom. if you're logged into the right Google. And then you can choose your Pear Deck. I'm just going to do it as an announcement. You could also do it as an assignment. I have done it as an assignment. I'll show you what it looks like shortly so that I can do it as an assignment. I'm just going to post it. Yep. Awesome. Great. Announce something. Take away. Yep. There we go. This just wanted it to have a name, apparently. And then you can just close this out. You should be good to go here. And then in our classroom, which I don't have open, but that's okay. It's going to make me keep switching accounts because I was playing around with YouTube. Sorry.
Katie, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm looking at the teaser takeaway.
Yep.
And when I opened, like, did you have to post this for each person, or does it just know because I am Rebecca Shea and I logged in with Google?
It does. So I'm going to show you what the teacher one looks like, and when you're going to see on the student end what the student one looks like. So when I click on the Pear Deck takeaway for as the teacher, you're going to get this whole folder. Now, again, I would love to talk to the Pear Deck people, but here's my folder of takeaways. If you on your Google Classroom as the student click on it, you're just going to get automatically directed to whichever document is yours. I would like to tell the Pear Deck people, please put the name at the front. That's just me. That would be helpful. But if you hover over it, you will get people's names. And it actually will always give you a blank response one, too. So if you ever needed to show it in class and didn't want to show other people's, you could find the one that says blank responses. Again, I would like that to be at the beginning of the title, but that's a me and Pear Deck issue.
Why don't you just press the thing that makes it icons to long names?
You can, yeah, but then it does it for my whole drive, so I don't keep it like that. But yes, temporarily, yes, I could do that.
So I pressed the button for downloading the takeaways
for today,
and a screen came up, and it was very entertaining because it kept saying 105 of 107, like, plots foiled, and then it would switch.
Is it this screen?
It was that screen, but where it says finalizing this could take a few minutes.
Yeah.
It had a continuous change of 105 of 107, like.
Yeah, it just does silly things, I think. So when you what I do is I publish the takeaway, and it takes a little while for Pear Deck to actually create them all, which is why I made sure to close the other one yesterday so that I made sure that the takeaway would be ready probably in 10 or 15 minutes, maybe a little longer, but it's not ready immediately. So there is a little bit of lag time while it populates all of those different documents. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll do the notes one day, and then the next day they have to come in and they open it and they will do, they'll do like the summary to tell me what they learned. So that's why I did this one ahead of time, because I wanted to make sure I had a takeaway that I could show you. Okay. So if I have all these takeaway and I go to Rebecca's, now I can see what Rebecca's takeaway looks like. You all, if you did the Pear Deck teaser, also have a takeaway. If you didn't do the Pear Deck teaser, you still will see that link, but I think it will give you like a red screen that says it doesn't work because you didn't do it. So again, I would have the kids come the next day and give me a summary of of what we talked about yesterday. And they can now, I want to learn, good job. So I can now scroll through and we can see, so here's a slide that didn't have a question added to it. So it's just my slide that I provided. This slide, I had added a draggable question to it. So you can see the question, you can see what I put as the teacher, and you can see that Rebecca picked this purple, here's her purple star. You can see where she put her answer. Again, then you would see if this were like a test or quizzing or content thing, the next slide would be the correct answer. But here's what she wrote, engaging students in core science. So that's what she wrote for that. Anywhere there, she wrote a little otter, baby otter. Is it a baby otter? Baby otter. That's a pretty good baby otter. And so on and so forth. You can see what she picked. She'd like to travel. No, I know there's a spelling error. It's driving me nuts. She'd like to travel nowhere, but have your house to yourself for the week. Okay, so that's what the kids will see when they get the takeaway. And if you come back to this classroom tomorrow, you'll be able to see your takeaway from today's. I'll probably change this because it's annoying me. But so really, any questions? Am I going too fast?
The takeaway, at least for me, is up from today already.
Oh, it
Like,
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I'm usually like at the buzzer at the end of class, so I never really know how long it takes to generate because I'm not doing it till the next time anyway. Yeah, it looks like they might be ready.
Can
Yep,
I tell
there
you
they
what
are.
I did while you were presenting?
Please do.
So I've never used Pear Deck, but I've been in like professional developments where they have. And so what I did was I split screened. I had the meet on half of my screen, pinning your presentation so that I could see what you were sharing, like when you were sharing out the answers and such.
Yeah.
And then the presentation where I was clicking, dragging, writing, so on and so forth was on the other half of my screen.
Yep.
So that I didn't have to keep flipping tabs.
Yes.
And so that is always something if you're worried about telling the students like, okay, now go over, come back to the meet to look at this. Now go back over to Pear Deck. If you just teach them how to split screen, then everything should be up there all at once.
Yes, that's true. So I do that when we play Kahoot too, because the Kahoot is the same issue. They need to be able to see the answer choices, but they need to be able to see the symbols and all that stuff. So I do, and if anybody needs help learning how to split screen or teaching your kids to split screen, I did make a goofy video about it, so I can send you that goofy video. So this is my same presentation that I just did with you, only it's what I call unpaired. So the unpaired version, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make it into a Pear Deck. So you could open any slide deck you have, anything you already have in slides, and you click on add-ons and go to Pear Deck. You might, if it's not there, you might need to get add-ons, but mine was there, and I think it was there before I started using it. So I'm thinking it might already be pushed out to you, but I'm not positive. If not, you just need to get add-on, and you can search the Pear Deck. And then you're going to open Pear Deck, and this little thing is going to pop up here on the side. And it's super easy. You have this slide already. This was the first slide we did where I wanted it to be a writable. So I click here over on draw. Click draw. It gives it a second. It says do. I'm working on the current slide. And then there it is. You know it's right because it has the little Pear Deck symbol at the bottom. If you click on this, it says don't change this link. Don't erase that because that's what makes it the interactive slide. And then you get a little information down here about what's going on there. Okay, well, it's a drawing slide. Okay, so then this was just an answer slide. I didn't need this one, but this one was multiple choice. So, okay, well, I'm going to just click on multiple choice. And then instead of putting all the options in, I just put 1, 2, 3, because it was already a multiple choice, and 4. Update the slide. And again, you see the little pop-up there. It will tell you that it is now a multiple choice slide. It will even tell you the choices. So if you do just write out a question and you put the answer choices and you want to type out your answer choices, but it will kind of give you a little information in your own memos there about what you just did to that slide. Okay. This is another one that I did as a drawing.
Wait, Katie.
Yes.
If you go back to slide number 5,
Yep.
Or
the math
how
one.
did you get it? How did you get it to circle the right answer? Like, did you have to
This one?
duplicate the slide? Yeah.
Yeah. So then all I do is so I make the slide, and then before I add the Pear Deck question to it, I duplicate that slide. So then it's already ready to become the answer key slide.
Right.
And then this is how I forgot the facts one at the end because I got distracted by duplicating it and then realizing I don't know the right answer anyway, so I don't need that one, so I deleted it. It was the whole thing. So I think that's how I ended up accidentally not putting the question on that last one. But yeah, so I would write this question out and then duplicate the slide. Then in the second slide, I put the answer, and then this is just text boxes in Google Slides. This is nothing Pear Decky. But then it's there for me. And then same thing here. I added, this is just I cut and paste a picture of the question from the exam. And then I duplicated that slide. And this is just a Google slide. I added a circle thing.
Okay.
For the answer.
Good.
Yeah. So the answer, my answer keys are not Pear Decky. They're just slides.
Okay.
Okay. But I usually try to make sure I duplicate it before I make it a question. And if not, it's not the end of the world. All you have to do if you need to undo, you just take that bar here and you just highlight it and delete it. You just get rid of it. and then it takes the question away. I think you have to then go in and delete this stuff if you want to, but then you can just, if you need it, let's say like one time I added the drawing, it was supposed to be a draggable. Okay, hold on, I gotta fix that. So I just delete it and add it again. So this one, again, this one was another drawing one because it was drawing circles, so I don't need to show you that again. The multiple choice one, it seemed. So I want to show you the draggables. So again, I would like Pear Deck to come up with a way to drag my own things, but they haven't gotten there yet. But they have all of these different options of things you can drag. So I did a star for one. If you click on these, there's a couple of different other kinds of symbols. So if you're a math teacher and you want them to build the equation, maybe you can have them build in, or it might make their life a little easier. Is it a plus, a minus, whatever. You can do numbers or you can do little symbols. That's where I got the little microscope from. And you can also change the color. So you want it to be different colors. Great. You can add another one. Well, now I want this one to be orange and I want it to be 8. So you can add in all sorts of stuff like that. I don't know, at some point you probably max out how many draggable things you can have. I just don't know what point that is. I haven't gotten there yet. I've only really added maybe 3 or 4 tops, but so if that was what I was gonna do, now I don't want them all to be the same color. So now and you'll be able to see it on the bottom. It's very tiny, but you can see the check mark, the 8, and my little microscope there. And those will be draggable items on that slide now to put them wherever you want them. Okay, that's the same thing I did here with the stars, except it should be this way. But with the stars, it's a draggable one, and I just added in those same stars, the different colored stars. Anybody have any questions? Look, I do have 2 slides, but I just never put an answer or never put a question on it. So this one would be if you want them to write on it, it's a drawing, even though they don't necessarily have to draw. I use the drawing a lot for inserting text boxes. And then they can move that text box wherever they want it. Versus if I did a short answer text one where you type in, it would pop up on the right-hand side of the slide. It wouldn't be on the slide itself, if that makes sense. Any questions about that? That's like a super fast overview, but it is fairly easy. It does make you think a little bit more about what you're putting in your slides, but I would say that 90% of us already have slides, and even if we're just adding in a couple of practice Regents questions, or we talk about a concept, and then let me add a couple slides and do a couple of interactive ones, and then continue on with my notes. Like I said, I really like the Pear Deck option because it takes away. Typically when I do in-class notes, even though there may be interactive spots in the packet that we're working on, this year have been completely paperless. So I ran into, okay, what happens after we do the notes? What if they need to reference that information? Do I just post the slide deck? Okay, that's fine, but that's boring. So the takeaways were a real game changer for me, that they could go in there and that they can type on them. So if we need to go back to it another day and edit them or change them in any way, and we'll just peek at Amy's because it happens to be here. It's a document that they have editing access to. So they can not only just type in this box, but they could add notes to any slide they want. They can just add in whatever they want. Or whatever I want them to. Okay, goes down to slide number 5, I made a mistake. We got to edit it, anything like that. But that was my big thing, is I wanted them to have access to it as a resource. Because for me, that's why I do notes, to introduce new information. And that's why I do paper notes, is because then when we're doing a lab or they have another activity to do, I can say, look at your notes. This is how we figure it out. Do you remember from your note? You know what I mean? So they have a resource. It's like resource building for them, so that I'm not constantly just giving them the answers, but I have given them a place to go find the answer. That's not like a textbook or the all of Google or anything like that. So I think that was everything I wanted to cover. I'm going to make a video. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming today. I think today was one of our best Web Wednesday turnouts, so I'm really thankful that you guys came, and I hope you guys got something out of it. There was just a couple of quick things that I realized after we finished that I wanted to make sure you knew that I kind of skipped. So here is a special little follow-up. First of all, how to start the Pear Deck, right? I didn't show you how to do that. So if you're in your slides and you just, same thing, you're gonna go to your add-ons and open your Pear Deck add-on. You may have seen this while I was showing you how to add in the questions. But you simply have to click up here and click Start Lesson. So I did this ahead of time just because it takes a minute or so to load. The other thing that I did forget to mention is that you do have the option of doing a student-paced one, which would be like a homework assignment, or if you were doing for distance learning, it could be really good. And kids can kind of go at their own pace. So there's a student-paced version and the instructor-paced version. What we did today was the instructor-paced version. That would be like an in-class kind of thing, but you could pick either one. And then it will kind of launch for you. Obviously, if you're doing the student-paced version, you have to provide them the link, post it on your classroom, or however you want to get to that. But as you can see, it does take a couple seconds to load, which is why I wanted to make sure it was sort of up and running before we started, so that it didn't take too long. Again, you can share to the Google Classroom, you can copy the link, and then it will automatically give you this thing to go to the teacher dashboard. The Pear Deck teaser that I posted last week was done student-paced mode. Today's lesson, the demo with the different subject questions, was in instructor-paced mode, just so you know. So again, I just wanted to make sure you knew that, because I think I skipped that stuff. It will automatically, this is my teacher dashboard, so it'll automatically show you in the teacher dashboard. And you'll also be able to see, obviously there's 0 people here, but you'll be able to click on here and see who's joined it and who's done it and who hasn't. So if you have any questions, please, yes, I'm sure I want to end it. And yeah, I don't really need to name it. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks again for coming.